Hey guys, welcome to Whitney's Watch List. Today I'm reviewing Queen and Slim. These last names be having me messed up, so let me get it right. Directed by Melina Matsoukas, written by Lena Waithe, starring Daniel Kaluuya and Jodie Turner-Smith. Okay, so, and of course we know Daniel from Get Out, and Jodie is actually a breakout star, so this is really new for her. She's just kind of new on the Hollywood scene. This is like her breakout film. I think the way that we're introduced to Queen and Slim was very interesting with that first scene in the diner. It sets up their character types very well and how opposite they are in a lot of ways. And you almost are kind of excited to anticipate how they mesh, how they end up meshing, because you know it's a love story. That's like not a secret. I was watching an interview this morning with all four of these folks, Lena Waithe, Melina, Daniel, and Jodie. And they talk about that scene that really sparks everything, you know, that scene where he does shoot the cop. And about how cold that scene was and how he was trying to find a moment or a line when everything turns, right? And they decided it was going to be an improv scene where he says, yo, can you hurry up? It's cold. And it's cold was kind of just like a double entendre for what you got me doing is fucked up. This is cold shit. And also it's physically cold. Like you're stripping me of even like my human rights right now. This is ridiculous. You're not finding anything like. So that was really interesting, and just all hell breaks loose, right? And I mean, it was really ridiculous the way that was done, but it was pretty on par with the ridiculousness of actual police brutality events that have occurred. Talking specifically about the events that have transpired or that we've seen in the media over the past few years. You know, Queen is really, really smart. I found her character to be more interesting than Slim because she is such a headstrong woman, and she wants to put on this front that she has it together and she knows what she's doing and she knows what she's thinking. But actually she was quite vulnerable, and you saw her become more comfortable in her vulnerability as the movie got on. And I thought that was really, really interesting to see. Because I think as Black women, you feel the need to be powerful and to be smart and to be all of these things all the time, because you know at any given moment, somebody gonna try you, point blank period. And you just always wanna be ready. And that was really Queen's position. And I thought that this was so interesting, right? Like as they're on the run, the beginning of their run, they're eating in the back of this truck, and he said, I think I wrote it down. Slim said, why do all Black people feel the need to be excellent? Why can't we just be ourselves? And oh my God, that line hit home so hard, because I think, you know, you hear all the time Black excellence, right? Not that that's not the vibe, but when do we get to a point where we can just be us? You know, like I think because the reason why this line was even brought up, I think he was asking her, are you good at what you do? And she was like, I'm excellent. And again, that's just that Black woman in you just want to be like, I'm bomb, I'm the shit. I'm good at what I do because I have to be. And that's why he was like, you know, like, why we always gotta be good at everything? Like, why can't we just be regular? Like, we can still be good, but why do we feel the need to always claim that we're excellent? And I just thought that that was just such brilliant writing. That was amazing. I want to talk a moment about their costumes, you know, because Queen's first outfit was in an all white outfit. She had on a white sweater, white pants, white boots, and a brown coat. And I mean, it was fly. But I just want to know really the thought behind that, because I was trying to decide, is the white symbolic of her being in a white world? You know, because she's a lawyer dealing with all of these powers, the state and all these other lawyers. One could go as far as saying that white was symbolic of intelligence, sometimes white is associated with that, and I want to believe that maybe that's where they were going with that, but I want to believe that that was a cultural choice as well. And then the brown being on top, it just felt like, does she have a foot in both worlds, the white world and the black world, because of her brown coat? And I was like, you know, what was the choice there? I want to know, really. I mean, because she was white down to the boots, like that was intentional, and I just really want to understand it. And then Slim was just kind of like a regular black dude. He just had on his just regular jacket, hair is a little whatever, and he was just like no real fashion statement to him. It was just like, this is what I'm wearing. But then I thought it was interesting when they have to change outfits even later in the film, even like what they choose to put on. He's now suddenly in red, which is the color of power, and she's in like this feisty, you know, short dress and heels. Homegirl on the run in heels, like, oof, I felt bad for her. And it was just a very bold choice. I mean, she made a bold decision to make them run, because let's be honest, like, she was the one who made them run. I think what I loved a lot in this movie, there were a lot of scenes, maybe not a lot, but a few, where it's just action and voiceover. So there's this scene where they're in the truck and they're deciding what to do, and the camera is behind them. We don't see their faces, but we hear the conversation that they're having. I thought that was incredible. That was amazing. Like, you just felt part of their story. You just felt like you were on their journey, and you felt like a passenger kind of in that scene anyway. I just thought it was a really smart choice, and we got to focus on the conversation and what was going on in the headspace of each character versus on them individually. And it happens again a couple other times throughout the movie, and it's still just really well done. But then at certain scenes, you're not sure if it's their thoughts or an actual conversation. And I just thought that that twist was just really cool. I thought it was really cool. And not like a voiceover in like a, in a world. It's not narration, if that makes sense. I like that through multiple moments of the film, Queen says this in the script of her changing her mind. You know, they're trying to figure out this really high stakes situation, and through multiple scenes, she says, I'm allowed to change my mind. And I like really love that. And again, credit to Lena Waithe. Although I think that these lines were specifically for women, it can be translated to men. It's just like, no, we made a decision, but okay, now we're changing it. And we should be allowed to do that, because men don't ask for forgiveness on changing their goddamn mind. And I really love that that was said more than once. I mean, because it was intentional. It was said maybe 2 or 3 times that she was like, I'm allowed to change my decision. I have the right to change my mind. And I felt like it got ingrained in me, like, yeah, I have the right to change my mind. You know, and it was just cool. So this sex scene, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, this was an intense sex scene. Like, it was deep. He had titty up in his mouth and everything. I was like, ooh, they really getting to it. And this scene was happening alongside a riot on their behalf. And it was actually so beautiful. It was just really well done. And I really liked the idea of a climax happening at the climax of a movie. Just brilliant. I like that there's this one scene where they, you know, they're moving along in their journey. They're getting help along the way. And they're about to have another meal. And Queen decides she wants to lead prayer. And I just thought that was really cool, because there's definitely a spiritual theme in this movie, and Slim's character is very faithful. His tags on his car said, trust God. And Queen, at the beginning of the movie, was kind of just looking at him when he was saying grace before they ate on their first date. And I just thought that was so cool that she went from kind of, you know, crinkling her nose to now wanting to lead prayer. And I was like, yes, like that is amazing. Like, just how God comes to you in different ways, you know. I liked this scene where there's this moment between a white cop and a black cop, and they're on the lookout, obviously, for Queen and Slim. And there was just like this rude ass back and forth of this white cop kind of disrespecting the black cop, like, you're not in the city no more, like, you need to relax. Like, he just disrespecting him just even on the job. So I liked that the disrespect was shown even on the other side. You know, I thought that was really, really important to see. And kind of just how the black cop had to just like eat it. I don't think that that's a narrative we really consider a lot of. What does that look like for the black cops who were on the inside? And I think it'd be really interesting to see something like that explored. I saw this movie in Atlanta because I was in Atlanta for Thanksgiving weekend, and I was actually really grateful that I got to see it with a black audience. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, and like black people do, when the black cop raised the garage and he kind of just let them pass, the whole theater started clapping. I was like, black people would do this. That's cool. But I say that because at the end of the film, I just had a chance to look around and just feel the energy of the people in the room and see how they reacted to the ending. Some people were talking about different moments, and some people were like, wow, that's crazy, that's wild. And a lot of people were just like drying their eyes, you know, like that's fucked up. And, you know, there's not a happy ending to this movie, guys. It's not. And I was really trying to decide how I felt about the ending, because I think I really, really wanted there to be some kind of happy ending, some kind of catharsis, and I just didn't get it. And I was trying to decide, well, Whitney, what did you want to see? Did you want them to get away? Did you want them to make it to their destination? Did you want them to find a lawyer to defend them and then they won and then all is well? Is that what you wanted? How would you have felt about that ending? And then I tried to think about it. I'm like, well, I guess that wouldn't have been very interesting. And that really wouldn't have solved the issue of the police brutality that continues on today. So then I thought about it more, and I was like, well, I guess it ended the way it needed to end. And even after seeing this interview this morning, I understood the ending better, because it was Melina's and Lena's way of commemorating those who have lost their lives to police brutality. It was heavy. This movie was heavy. It was heavy, and it was a great love story of these two young black characters falling into their weaknesses and finding strength in each other along the way. But it was also great to see the black community rally behind them, as we are continuing to do, to fight for our rights, because we still don't have them. So I don't think much more is needed beyond that point. I think this movie was beautiful. The soundtrack was really nice. It just felt raw. It just felt raw emotionally, physically, and it was well done. And I think the point that these filmmakers were making when I saw the interview this morning was that we need to begin to understand what black film looks like for us. And they were talking about how for such a long time it feels like we create films that fit within white Hollywood, right? But what do like our films actually look like? You know, like what does our voice look like for us? And I thought that was a really interesting perspective. And sure, you have a lot of independent filmmakers, but I think the point here was for films that are being made for the masses, not necessarily independent films. And I think we need more of that. I think we need to see more black stories that are our stories and our voice, and not things that check the box for white people necessarily. And I will go a step further and say we need more stories that represent all cultures. We need to see more Asian stories. We need to see more Indian stories. We need to see more Native American stories. Like, we need to see that represented in Hollywood in general, not just independent films, not just short stories or short films. So this is a must-see. It really is. It's very thought-provoking. It's very emotional. It's very riveting. And it's real. And I can't promise you that you're going to like it because it's an uncomfortable topic. But goddamn, it was done really well.
Check out this video, that video, or go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.